Thank you very much, Eric, for your very warm words. You know, I realize I'm getting old. Each time I sit there, and this is the second time, I wanted to vault up, and I said, you know, you might slip. I wanted to show you all a few pictures to put in perspective and to share in the most effective way why we believe sustainable planning is important. And so rather than a talk, we have produced a series of slides. And the first slide you see is Wadrick Wells, the heart of the Bahamas National Trust Park headquarters in the Exuma Keys Land and Sea Park. And I want to specifically point to you the boats. This is the headquarters and this very, very open marine environment. And I'll come back to that. And the next picture is a far, far trip back in memory. This is what the Bahamas used to look like, and how our people carried things, maintained their yards, built their walls. And a few more shots, fishing boats. That's the way we carried mutton to the slaughterhouse back then. And this is the way we caught and maintained our fish. Believe it or not, that's Prince George Wharf. We commuted between the islands like this, and many of us lived like that. Notice the treescape surrounding this house to keep it cool and shaded. And that's the way the forest looked at the time. We started to learn about the value of forests in the 20s, 30s, up to the 50s, and did things like that to our forests in Andros, Abaco, and Grand Bahama. And that's the example of a logging operation. And at the time when we did it, we intended that 5 trees per acre would be left. We didn't have foresters at the time, and so the trees that were intended to be left were intended to reseed the forest and to make it sustainable. We had, in essence, high grading of the forest and pillaging of the forest estate. And so today, we are now at a point where we're trying to resurrect it. And this is the challenge of what we're dealing with. We took this picture last Saturday. This is essentially from Pinewood Gardens looking across to Kuzna to see how development and urbanization has overtaken New Providence and the pattern that it has taken. We're at this place. Believe it or not, that was taken last Saturday too. From the air, that's what Bahama is beginning to look like. This is the road that'll come over from Gladstone, and that's the roundabout that'll go. And these are some of the issues that we want to address as a result of this conference. That one is self-evident. People have issues regarding development. They're very emotional about land. Guanakee, I'm not quite sure whether this is Bimini, Pinewood Gardens, Exuma, Andros, or where. It could be anywhere in the Bahamas, but people are concerned about land and development in the country. This is what we used to do, a typical subdivision. It's designed and intended to maximize lots to be at the minimum compliant with the Town Planning Act. And so all the trees are taken out. We ensure that the road is the minimum width, there are alleyways, and that's the way we used to plan subdivisions without regard to the surrounding communities. I wanted to show you this to illustrate why we must plan. This is a key in the Exuma Park called Over Yonder Key. Windmills to capture the wind and create energy, solar panels to capture the sun's energy, and in here is a diesel generator. This particular key can supply itself with electricity from the generators, from the wind turbines, from the solar panels, or from the diesel generators. If you want to see extravagance in the name of renewable energy and sustainability, look at Over Yonder Key. Now, we believe that renewable energies are the keys to the future, and we think of them as benign. But this, more than any other slide I will show you, should illustrate the need for planning and appropriateness. When you go into Exuma Keys, you are confronted with this development, and it is somewhat jarring, but yet it's trapping the energy of the wind and the waves, and it is intended to be sustainable and absolutely redundant. They're also doing dredging here. This is Elizabeth Harbor in the EXUMAS, a very beautiful picture. Most people won't believe that it was only last year that we put a wastewater treatment in the EXUMAS in Elizabeth Harbor. So all those regattas that you went to and all those boats that go to Elizabeth Harbor, it's only last year that they're able to treat the effluents from the boats. And I use that to make a point. From Stocking Island to Great Exuma to over yonder key to Wadrick Wells, our first slide, the ocean knows no borders. I don't own any land here. This is in Abaco, but this is my absolute favorite subdivision in the whole Bahamas. This is Schooner Bay. And it shows, these pictures are intended to show how Schooner Bay harmonizes development with the land, the sea, and the trees to create an environment that is sustainable. Narrower roads, tree preservation, lot sizes are defined, access to the beach is defined, and they have a farming community. It embodies the principles of sound planning that we want to inculcate and nurture in our society. I know you all don't like wooden houses because you believe they catch fire and burn easily, but you notice most people want a dormer window today, and everybody wants a picket fence in a garden today. That's the way it used to be. Is that Spanish Wells, Harbor Island, Bimini, somewhere in New Providence, everywhere Bahamas? That's the way we design homes and houses. We left trees in place. We had wonderful, beautiful colors that blended in with our community. We knew how to build, we knew how to design, and we used our natural products to build and design. This is what we're seeking to protect, these next series of slides. Conch, grouper, birds. Some people love lizards. In Manawakita eat salty crabs. I would have preferred that picture to be a land crab, but I think you get the point that in planning for development, we must leave space and opportunity for these creatures that we enjoy. What would the Bahamas be like if you couldn't get a conch salad? What would it be like if you went into the forest and couldn't hear birds sing? What would it be like on New Year's Day if you couldn't have boiled fish? Or any Saturday? And that's why we must plan for the preservation of ecosystems that keep these things. Now, I've never seen a Bahamian with a pet osprey, but imagine going through the Exuma Keys or any island in the Bahamas and not being able to see this beautiful sight. Next one. And so there's an overhead shot of the Exumas. You can imagine New Providence up here, Long Island somewhere here, and this interconnected series of keys and islands. Between Ship Channel Key and Barratari is Black Point, Farmers Key, Staniel Key, and a number of other developments. And the memory I want to leave you with is the continuity of that ocean. There's deep water here, there's shallow water here, and the complete integrated nature of this system of water and why we must plan for its development. That's it.